Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Box Score Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, and on today's clip, we are going to focus on the Miami Dolphins, their big win against the LA Chargers. They beat them 36-34. We'll talk a little bit about the Chargers too, but I really want to just focus on the Dolphins and the three big things that I kind of took away from this game going forward into the NFL season. Now, if you're a Dolphin fan or a fan of the other team, let me know in the comments down below what was a big takeaway you took away from watching this game or the game of your favorite team of week one. So let's start with the Dolphins. Three big things I learned that I'm going to take away from watching the game. And I'm going to start on a negative. But I'll spin it into a positive, which is the run defense. Okay, so I was very excited about the hiring of Vic Fangio and his defense being implemented for the Miami Dolphins. It didn't the defensive run game did not show up. They could not stop the run all game. They allowed a lot of yards on the ground, a total of 234 yards. Between the running backs, those who ran the ball, it was almost 6 yards a carry, giving up over 100 yards to Eckler, and Kelly even had 91 yards. He was on the verge of getting 100 yards. So it is a little nerve-wracking. I just wonder, maybe as they learn the defense throughout the season and they make adjustments, can they tighten that run defense up? Because that's going to matter. That's going to matter going forward. And also, we know that there were some holdouts in training camp. So maybe as they get those players back implemented, Wilkins, that they will be better. They'll be better at the run defense. Because did you notice the pass defense? It wasn't really there. Phillips got to I almost said Rivers, to Herbert a couple times, but it wasn't until the very end of the game when they knew that the Chargers were going to throw the football where the pass rush was just unleashed. And then they got 2 sacks out of it, or back to back. And what I really liked about Vic Fangio is he seemed to always call up blitzes at the right time. And when he called up the blitz, they got to the quarterback the majority of the time. So even though it was like rush four, didn't get a ton of pressure on Herbert the entire game. When it came to big moments defensively, Vic Fangio called up the blitz, and that blitz got to Herbert or had him moving. And a couple times he got out of the pocket and hurt the Dolphins. But when it mattered the most, we got to Herbert. So just something to keep an eye on. The run defense wasn't that great today. I'd like to see it improve next week. But let's talk about the better stuff, the more positive stuff that we can take away from today's game. And the first is Tua. Tua looks really good. He looks as good as ever. I thought he did a lot of better at progressing through his progressions, especially when he had to improvise. He had a lot of plays where he had to improvise, including that big deep throw to Tyreek to help set up the winning score. And he was on point, great anticipation, which we expect from Tua. And he just looked really good. Now, there was a couple throws that I'll call out. He missed a deep ball to Tyreek. He underthrew it. He underthrew one to Waddle as well. And Braxton Berrios was kind of, and we'll talk a little bit about Braxton Berrios, but he threw like a jump ball to him, and Braxton Berrios is like a 5'9" wide receiver, and I didn't kind of understand that decision at all. So I wasn't happy with that decision, but for the most part, he played awesome. We're excited. We all should be excited because Tua looks like he's just going to continue what he started last year. He almost had 500 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. So it's exciting to have a quarterback like that you can just kind of count on week to week to put up big numbers. Now, the third takeaway is something we kind of already know, but it's just like good and reassuring that defenses haven't seemed to caught up to the Dolphins yet in the passing game with all the weapons they have. That team is so fast Hill was amazing in this game. That last play where Tua, which was, by the way, I didn't give Tua enough credit for that pass. That last pass that he threw to put ahead had to be perfect. Right over the shoulder. If the guy had his head just a little bit to the right, I believe it was to the right, that pass wouldn't have been completed. But it was perfect, and Tyreek kind of had to show his hands at the right time, right? And when he showed his hands at the right time, it was too late for the corner to respond. So Tyreek was amazing in this game, open and making people miss. He'd find holes in the zone and he was open, and they'd play man, and he's just too fast for anybody to cover. Waddle looked good. Smythe looked good too. He made some good plays, some good catches, and Berrios, like I said, he had some big plays, especially that last drive. There was that one where it looked like it could have hit the ground, but he didn't a good enough job to sell that he caught it, that there was no evidence that it didn't hit the ground. So really exciting. Oh, I do want to say Tua's decision to throw that ball high towards the end of the half and getting that pass interference call to give the Dolphins the lead going into halftime. That was a smart play too, by the way. And I also wanted to say that Ingle, the fullback that the Dolphins paid, he looked good as well. Mostert looked good. So the team in general just looked great coming out into week one. The only thing that scares me is that running defense, that rush defense. So hopefully the Dolphins can figure out their run defense and not allow that to continue. Otherwise, that's going to be a huge weapon that other teams can use against us. But that's all I got. Awesome week one win though, Dolphin fans, because if it comes down to those 7 to 8 teams all jockeying for position at the end of the season, we now have a leg up on the Chargers. So we have the tiebreaker, big, huge on the road start of the season win for the Dolphins. Now the Chargers, just real quickly, their secondary didn't look great, but maybe that's just a Dolphin thing. So I don't want to be too hard on the Chargers in that. Their run offense looked excellent, but that could be also a Dolphin thing. I don't know. It's week one. It's so hard to know these things. And then they charged again. That 3-3 at the end of the half, that hurt the Chargers big. And then the intentional grounding by Herbert. It's like they had enough time. They had 2 timeouts. They could drive down the field, and then the intentional grounding really hurt the Chargers. And because of that, it helped. It's not the reason the Dolphins won, but it definitely helped get the Dolphins where they needed to be in order to take advantage and win that game. So we'll see what the Chargers do going forward. I think I had them missing the playoffs. I can't remember. Maybe I had them making the wild card, but it's hard to trust a team with the type of history they do that always shoot themselves in the foot. So anyway, let's go Dolphins. Great win. Well, let me know down below what you appreciate most about watching this game as a Dolphin fan. And if you're not a Dolphin fan, just let me know what you thought of week one of the NFL season. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.